welcome to TandyCast, Creative Saskatoon. I'm your host, Tandy Wilson. We have as our guest today musician, actor, and comedian, Danny Knight. He is professionally experienced in his field of arts and is currently involved with a satirical video showing called The Feather. I'm excited to have our guest, and I don't feel like waiting any longer, so let's get into it. All right, so we're sitting down with Danny. Thank you.
Hey, how's it going?
So right off the bat, I just wanted to get a little bit of your background and your experience within Saskatoon and some of the involvement within the arts that you've had within Saskatchewan.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Well, I got into the arts by my dad. I played bass for him in his band, Chestnut in the Wind. And how that started was he was getting married to my stepmom, Brenda. She's an amazing lady. And he wanted to sing and dance the first dance. So he wrote a song for her, and he got my brother Lance to play guitar, and I played bass. And then that's how I got in. That's how I kind of got a taste of performing. And I finished high school. Then I went to university, and then the damn government shut my university down. And then. But in between that, I did this program at formerly the Saskatchewan Native Theatre Company, which is now called the Gordon Tusis Niganiwan Theatre. They had this program called the Circle of Voices, and it was a 9-month drama intensive packed in with culture, Indigenous culture. So we learned about lighting, we learned about acting, we learned about sound, we learned about our heritage, we learned about our spirituality. It was a really amazing program.
Important, yeah.
Yeah, super cool. And then I went on, took some more training with them in their Fire Spirit, Red Spirit programs, and then eventually I did an artist in residency at the Persephone Theatre. I learned more about the administrative side, marketing, even more acting, script writing, more sound design. Yeah. And then after that, I toured as an actor across Canada for a little while. Was in a few shows. One highlight would be Hawk, or How He Learned to Play His Song was the play, and it was done by One Light Theatre out in Halifax. We performed at the Neptune Theatres backstage. Really cool show. It was about it was about the Mi'kmaq. So I learned a lot about Mi'kmaq people, and I played a Mi'kmaq person, and it was about their Sundance. And it was more or less not about the Sundance, but about how the Sundance relates to your everyday life. Okay. So we had a bunch of scenes about this kid growing up, and then how he found his strength through the Sundance and stuff like that, which is really
like
cool.
In modern times.
In modern times, yeah.
Nice.
It was really cool. And then I came back here, and then the theater that I trained at was looking for a publicist, and then they hired me, and I worked there for about 4 years, and not stupid, but at a desk job, and that was really great, like supporting my community, being a part of the pillar that holds up the community, and you learn a lot, and it was really beautiful. It was a really beautiful experience for myself to promote all these artists and to sing their praises and to tell their stories.
Well, I think during that time I asked you for help as well. So.
Yeah, that's right. I gave you support. I was really happy you got that, actually.
Yeah, thank you. Mm-hmm. Well, that's good. You've been involved with the music and the acting, and now you're getting into the comedy and everything. So maybe that's your major project right now.
So far, right now, yeah. Well, it's cool. Yeah, it's really cool. So I've been doing comedy for about 2 years now, maybe 2 months, and like all my training as a musician and an actor all like piles into it, and I use all that as a comedian, and it's probably like the most like. If you're speaking economically, the most fastest paying off one I've done. Like for music, I've trained and I've played for 10 years before I've seen any kind of money. Yeah. Acting, same thing, at least 7 or 8 years before a real contract came along.
A lot of big dues before.
Yeah. And then comedy, I just was like, I was doing my spare time. Then you fall in love with it, and then all of a sudden people are like, hey, you wanna? Well, then you win a few showcases, you win some SmackDowns, and suddenly people are like, hey, do you wanna tell jokes here for like $50? $50, fuck yeah, $50. Yeah. Then that grows and grows, and I'm at Yuck Yucks now on Friday for $300 for 30 minutes. That's like fucking.
Oh, that's gold.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. It's not like I'm not making big ducats, but it's a growth, and that's really good.
Why do you think that is? Just you make someone laugh and they're like, please, like just give me more, or like what's the appreciation of it like aspect?
From what I've heard from people who've seen me perform as an actor and as a musician and a comedian, is that the comedian seems like that seems like my element, is what they tell me.
Okay.
That it seems like I'm the most comfortable, I'm the most me, I'm the most whatever, right? And the kind of comedy I do, it's like, I try to be as least adversarial as I can, but still talking about the points that I want to get across, right? You know what I mean? So I have a joke that I thought that would give me a lot of flack, and I'll just give you like the rundown of it. I won't tell it, but it deals with gay identity and normalizing gay culture.
Okay.
And I kind of thought that, like, because you always hear on the what's the word, the irrational left, or the whatever, the radical left,
okay,
will come shut you down and censor you, right? So I've been telling that joke for a long time, and every time I tell, and I'm not a gay person, and like that's usually a big no-no for a lot of people. It's like, if you're not gay, you can't tell this stuff, right? Yeah. But the joke itself just normalizes gay culture. You know, it brings it it makes it more like acceptable or whatever. And it doesn't make fun of gay people, but it makes fun of left-wing and right-wing people in essence, right? So since that joke, it's coming out on 3 different prongs. It's not just one. I think that makes it more accessible to everybody to listen to and to like and to enjoy. Okay. But I do have another joke where I talk about the Ghostbusters and trying to raise my kid not racist, right? But in the end, in the joke, I end up failing and my kid ends up being a racist, right? So the tagline that I would say was, so my kid's a racist now. So he's going to join the convoy in Alberta. The big convoy they had, you know, and that joke got censored. By the right. I was doing a show in Estevan, and they're like, "You can't do that joke." No. And they saw all the stuff on the Feather. And they're like, "You can't do any of that stuff." And I was like, and I was taken aback because it's always right when people are saying the left's going to censor you, and then the right censors you first, which is kind of funny and kind of true, and like that's what I thought it was going to be anyways. So anyways, with that in mind, I do pull my punches a little bit with my jokes, just so I'm not pissing off somebody, but I'm making them look at themselves and reflect and laugh a little bit at their own stupidities and ironies, right? Yeah. So that's kind of what I go for my comedy, and it seems to resonate with people. I'm a huge. People call me really big on stage because I'm really loud.
You got the presence.
Yeah, the presence. People say that one of the vets said, a lot of comedians fight on stage for the audience to like them, and that's usually like 60 to 70% of the battle, and the last 30% is just your jokes being funny, right? And so a lot of comedians struggle with that. For me, he says, I'm very lucky because when I get on stage, people just want to like me right away.
They warm up.
They warm up right away.
I could, even as a viewer, I could see that being probably like the most true statement in comedy.
Cool.
You gotta like that person. So
I got a little advantage there, I guess.
That's nice. That's a nice advantage.
Even though I am an asshole, but
I wouldn't say that, but you're allowed to. You were talking about the Feather there. Maybe you could just give us like an origin of how that started. Because I personally always wait for the release.
Nice.
So, yes.
Cool.
The last episode was hilarious. I loved it so much.
What's more offensive? That was a really fun episode. So while the Feather started, so there's in the comedy scene there's a few Indigenous comedians. There's me, Sean Cuthand, Ryan Moccasin, and Danny Albert. And Danny Albert's Métis. And there's a couple other ones who were in there for a while. They're not out. Tyler Roper's one, and there's this new girl that's coming up, Shy Sap. She's on Facebook. She's really funny. She makes good memes. And then Dakota Hebert. She's also an actor. One of my close friends. We kind of we were doing all the Indigenous jokes and stuff like that. And one day Ryan Moccasin decides that he's going to start a satirical newspaper called The Feather, and there's going to be articles and whatever. And we all loved it. This is amazing. Then Ryan comes to me and he's like, "Yo, do you want to be like our monologue guy?" And I'm like, "You mean like Trevor Noah on the Daily Show?"
Of course.
It's like, that's my favorite. Just doing those stupid satirical news stuff. Like, I've always decided that would be cool. So we wrote a few monologues all on our own dime, and we rented the space. And Sean came in, and he's a cinematographer. He makes movies. He was our cameraman, and we would just do the material that Ryan gave us, and maybe make a little edits on the fly. And then So that was really fun. And then I can't remember whose idea it was, but we're all just in there. He's like, man, we should apply for a grant and see if we can get some sort of funding. And we're like, okay, cool. So we all sat down. We sat down together, had a big writing workshop. We wrote this grant together, and I thought like it was going to go nowhere because I apply for grants all the time, and I was nope, and then I had no hope in this one because first of all, it's a comedy, and our sports board doesn't recognize comedy as an art form, and then it's online, so there's no performance aspect of it, and then the guy who was applying, who was the lead on the project, Sean Cudahan, it was his first project that he was applying for. So it's 3 big strikes to say no. Like these are all the reasons why we say no. And then we fucking got it. Sorry for swearing, but then we got it.
Please,
and it just blew all our minds. We're like, what? Oh my god.
It's a celebrating moment.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, so then from then on, Ryan's like, okay, well, if you want to write articles for the Feather, you can write an article and we'll publish it. And then he's like, but then we all sat down and because we had time and money now to really sit down and work. So we had like a couple weeks of workshop writing all the monologues and everything, making edits and stuff. And then we all did that together. And then when we go to shoot it, we all did it together, and we make our edits last second too. And so the Feather 15 is what we called them, became more of a because before it was just Ryan's with all his hard work, but now it became more of all of our things. So now it's like we're the Feather, and we're doing comedy together and stuff like that. And
I like that. I hope it to continue on for a long prosperous life.
Yeah. Same here. Yeah. So we're gonna keep applying. We're looking at other places to apply to. We reached out to Creative Sask, but they're like, no, not that, not you. Which is okay. We have like a Patreon campaign that we were trying to get going. So if you like what we do, fucking donate to us, please, and we can keep doing.
Where would they find that? Just online?
Oh yeah, just Patreon, The Feather, or you can go to our website www.thefeather.ca.
Okay.
You can donate there. You can find our Patreon on there too, and we have the YouTube, same thing. So it's all there, and it's all and the coolest part I thought of the grant, and it's almost where we're failing actually. It was that I almost assumed that we would get more controversy,
Okay.
and more people being like, hey, this is bad, or blah blah blah, or you guys should try this, or more like just instead of just likes and loves and ha-has, I thought there'd be a little more conversation. And in our grant we said that we'd be able to like use those to inform our next videos and stuff like that, but we haven't gotten much out of that, which must mean we must be doing okay.
But that would help with the material, I'm sure.
No, definitely would. And like that's the cool thing about social media is that you get your instant feedback, right? Yeah. And when I worked at the theater, that was the hardest thing to do, was to get feedback, because you do a play and then everybody leaves, and then you got to reach out, and it's hard to get whatever, right? But this is more accessible.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I think it's building into a staple of Saskatoon.
I hope so. I mean, like it'd be really like the dream is to, like, Ryan's big dream is to start another Indigenous TV station.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
one in Saskatchewan.
That's huge.
Yeah,
That's
like another APTN Part 2. And like that's the big goal. And here we are making this one show. And and people like it. We were featured on APTN actually. We did a roundtable discussion with Walking Eagle News.
When was that?
That would have been in June.
Okay.
Yeah.
This year though. Nice.
Yeah, this year. And then some other Ontario newspaper did a spotlight on us and stuff like that, and an interview for that, and so people are interested, and it's really fun. It's cool. I mean, like, when you watch it, you got to know that like it's satirical, and we go places that are uncomfortable, but it's funny, and it's funny because it's sad, and it's funny because it's true, and it's funny because it's ironic, and like
it's got to have depth, right?
Yeah. Like what Ryan always says, we speak truth to power through satire,
there you go.
and like I agree with that.
Yeah, that is very, very good. So yeah, that's nice. I'm looking forward to this being a giant new Indigenous TV station.
It would be super cool if that came into fruition.
But in the short term of what's going on, maybe there's something that an event or just?
Oh yeah.
What's the next?
So the feather. So we have all this content, and we're releasing videos every Thursday. It's either going to be a monologue, or it's going to be an interview, and then we have this other super secret project that probably happen more closer to December that we're going to release then. But it's just another type of video, but it's fun. It's going to be fun. But I don't want to talk about it yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then we'll be releasing videos all the way up until I think December 16th is the last one we have planned. But then we'll shoot more. We'll have more free time and we'll shoot more and stuff like that. But that's
taking a break during that time, or is it?
Oh, it's just we run out of content.
Oh, okay.
Because then after December, then we're back to paying for everything on our own time and making time out of our own days, aside from trying to pay for all our bills and working our jobs and stuff like that. So. Yeah, but hopefully we'll apply again to the Arts Board. Maybe they'll come back on. Maybe they won't. We'll find out. So if they come back on, then we got even more, definitely, and more volume. But if they don't, we'll still have stuff. It'll just be a little more sparse, unless our Patreon kicks off.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Yeah, if you can.
Oh yeah, I do a quick shout out to Sean Cuthand. Actually, it's thanks to him that I actually started doing comedy. And it was kind of cool. We kind of like forced each other into it. Like he took me to the comedy lab, and we were just to watch comedy, and we had a great time. And then after the show, Sean's like, "Yeah, I want to do that sometime." I'm like, "Oh, cool!" So we go back to his place. We start writing jokes, just whatever, just talking shit to each other, and then we end up writing enough jokes to do a set. And then we go back to comedy, and I'm like, "Yo, Sean, you gotta do your set." And then Sean's like, "Oh, I'm too shy." And I'm like, "Okay, fine. Well, I'm gonna do a set." And I hopped in and I did my set. It was awesome. And then another week goes by, Sean's still writing jokes. And then he's like, I'm not going up. And I tell him, because we were writing the jokes together, I tell him, if you don't go up and tell your jokes, I'm going to go up and tell your jokes. And he's like, oh, fuck. So then he fucking went up and then fucking told his jokes, and he's really funny too. Like,
nice.
Yeah, we're definitely super writing partners. He helps me with my comedy. I help him with his comedy. And
do you guys go on, you guys got venues that you go on together as well?
Yeah, well, we host the Funny Bone Schmomedy Zone together. We run, I guess we're co-producers on it at the Copper Mug.
Yeah.
And then we'll get gigs. Like if one of the vets has a fundraiser or a gig somewhere, he'll be like, I need some of my boys. He'll call me and Sean, and then another one like Eric Bazali or Ryan Moccasin or Danny Albert or whoever, right? And then Sean also like. If he gets a gig, he tries to find a way to get me on the docket too. Okay. So he got a gig at FSIN Health Gathering, and he put me and Ryan on the show. So it's me, him, and Ryan. And right now, like you've seen with my mom here, she's like, my work wants to hire you. So I'm like, well, maybe I get me and Sean in this, and so hopefully I can. We
well, it's good. You got each other's backs.
Yeah, and that's how it is for like the comedy scene here too. Is like. Everybody is so supportive. There's no ego. There's no I'm better than this guy's better than this guy. It's all like we're here together to make everyone laugh.
To make this night special.
Yeah, and it's comedy too. So like people are gonna say things, and sometimes it's not gonna be funny, and sometimes it's just gonna be offensive, right? And so as a community, we don't. When someone has a bad set because they told a bad joke, so they don't understand the subject matter, we don't cut them off. We don't say, you're canceled, you're fucked, this is bad, you're not allowed here anymore. We bring that person in, we're like, hey dude, like, I'm sorry that joke wasn't funny. And they're like, well, why wasn't it funny? And then maybe it's because of these reasons why, you know what I mean? And they're like, oh, okay. And then they drop the joke or they reconstruct it so it actually is for everyone and it's good. And they understand all the other fine mechanics behind it.
That's great. That's guidance. Like, everybody can always use them even when they don't think they can.
Yeah, and me too. I get a lot too. Because I mean, like some of my jokes are like, they're alienating to white people, right? Because I'm a Native person, I'm joking about my experience, and I say things, and they help me find out where I cross the line, where it's just, and like I know some people think there's ain't no line with white people, but I mean, like, whatever, man. I'm trying to make people laugh. I'm not trying to. So
I'm not trying to drag people down.
Yeah.
Uplift.
Yeah, laugh and you can learn and whatever, right? So they help me know where my boundaries are, and then my jokes get better. So I'm still telling the same white jokes, but now they're better and more accessible to everybody because my white friends help me craft them a little more, right?
Nice.
Yeah. So I think it's really cool and then really beautiful.
No, that sounds absolutely amazing. So I think I'm gonna. If you have anything else that you'd like to bring up, for sure, this would be the time. And how can someone get a hold of you? They say if they have questions about anything you've mentioned.
So if you want to try stand-up comedy, you can come to my show, The Funny Bone Schmomedy Zone, at the Copper Mug. We have a Facebook page, Funny Bone Schmomedy Zone. You can get a hold of me on Facebook. You can get a hold of me through email, DannyKnight@gmail.com. If you're looking for whatever, if you're looking to book a comedian, if you're just looking to get into comedy, or whether you're looking for an actor. So that's how you can get a hold of me. Follow us on The Feather, thefeather.ca. That's another way you can get a hold of us. And then if you want to explore comedy in Saskatoon, there's the Wednesday show at Bud's. There's the Thursday show at the Crazy Cactus. It's on hiatus right now because they're doing renovations, but it'll be back. And then there's our show Sundays, Copper Mug, and then Gap Tooth Productions is one that runs out of the Black Cat, and that's run by Fabian Dre, and then he does comedy shows too. But you have to follow them more. Sometimes they're on Mondays, sometimes they're on Tuesdays. But they're book shows, and they're really good.
You can look that up on their Facebook.
Yeah, look at them on Facebook. Yeah. He does a lot of cool benefits. He does cancer benefits. I think we did one. We raised about, I think it was $8,000. And then when he did another show for the Rolling Barrage, it was this like Canada-wide fundraiser, and we raised like $10,000 for what's that? Crisis workers, like the first on-call ones. You know what I mean? Yeah. For them. So he does. His comedy is very, very dirty and very, very harsh. It's funny though, and he's funny. And if you're not ready for it, you're going to think that he's a misogynistic racist, which he's not. But you got to be ready. It's very dark comedy, but he's great, and we still love him. And he does good work for a lot of people. So
if he's helping raising that cause,
you know.
Yeah, and any shout outs, you shout outs to your mom there.
Yeah, shout out to my mom, shout out to my dad, shout out to Lancelot Knight. You can catch him anywhere, he's kicking ass. Who else can I shout out? Shout out to my girlfriend Krista for always supporting my back and having me and then thinking I was funny. And then a shout out to I did Ryan, I did that. A shout out to, I guess I'll just so here's some funny local comedians. We got James Bonzel, we got Shannon Mallory, we got Lyle K. He's funny. Even he's a little bit of a jerk, but he's funny. We got Dustin Williamson, Andrea Bunnan. Check all these people out. They're super funny. Who else? Preston Fontana is super good. Who else is there? I'm so sorry if I missed you. Lachlan Williamson, not McWilliams. No, Lachlan McWilliams, because he's Scottish. Yeah, he's
Scottish.
Yeah, he's and that was cool too. He's a really fun comedian because he's a professor at the U of S, and then he just started doing comedy like a year and a half ago, and it's like it's funny, it's cool to see like an older person do it, and then especially because he's like all like psychological, and just to hear his jokes, like you'd think they'd be way like different because he's a professor, but they're, I don't know, but he's great. He's lots of fun. And then if you like for your headliners, check out Miles Morrison, check out Junior Daryl Cushman, check out Joel Jeffries, check out Jody Peters. Those guys are super awesome, super funny. If they're doing a show, get them a chance. And then I guess this will air after my show, but I'm at Yuck Yucks on Friday with Scott Belford. That should be lots of fun. Yeah.
And you're usually at Yuck Yuck. Is that every Friday you're hosting it? Is that?
Oh no, it's more like they just contract me. I probably do for Yuck Yucks in Saskatoon. I'm probably there once every 3 months. Okay. Yeah, maybe every 2 months.
Good gig though.
But they find me shows outside of town. Like I was in Estevan. I'll be in Carlisle doing the Bear Claw Casino for them.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I'll be going to Calgary on the 6th to perform at the Late Show after the showcase, which will be really cool for me because all the big wigs are going to be there, all the networking stuff. So
networking.
So that'll be fun. And I'll be going down with Joel Jeffries, and we're doing the show in Carlisle, SK. He's super funny. He's kind of like awkward and deadpan, super cool guy. Yeah.
Nice. Well, I thank you so much. You've been an absolute pleasure, and just to be involved, I do thank you very much.
No. no.